Here comes your outfitter, Chuck Cureton, owner-operator of Ridgemaster Outfitting out of Casper, Wyoming. Man's been in the outfitting business for over 40 years and has had a helping hand in numerous big game animals taken of all species here in Wyoming. Heading up to the lodge. And when your eyes lay upon this for the first time, it just reeks of adventure. Green fields, our lodge is down here. It's Wyoming at its best. It's hard to imagine it getting any better. And for you guys looking for a hunt of a lifetime, if you've saved your money and you want to go through the Wyoming experience, this is your opportunity. And nothing indicates animal population better than this. And here's what we got going. We got the pines up here where the animals can lay the deer, mule deer, during the day, and they traverse across this drive, and there's their destination, the green fields. How many acres do you say is in here, Chuck?
There's 2,000 acres.
And so what we're looking at is huntable?
Most of it to the green fields. Most of our property sits kind of southeast. We need to go up there. It's beautiful. There's 300-foot canyons. There's antelope. There's tree stands for antelope. There's mule deer. There's elk.
And correct me if I'm wrong. You said there was no gun hunting allowed on this property at all.
No gun hunting allowed.
So that's an attribute in its own right, to where no guns are being fired upon the animals. So right time they can be forced in here and take up residency.
There's no guns even allowed through that gate down there.
Wow.
I know it's tempting for the prairie dogs and everything, but we don't want to disrupt this. This is for bow hunters.
Yeah.
We want no disruptions. The ranch kid, sometimes he has to shoot a coyote, mountain lion or something like that, but that's the only guns that go on here.
Well, that's another plus for this operation. A 5-star operation with 5-star gentlemen as your guide with, like I say, over 4 decades of guiding experience, and you can't count how many successful people that have harvested their first wild big game western animal with this man standing before you with a bow and an arrow. What time of day is it right now, Chuck?
It's got to be around 2:30.
2:30? That's a decent buck.
303.
303. That's alfalfa that they're eating on, and that field would be irrigated, right?
Yep.
And you notice all you have to do is look in the background back there, and you can see how dry this land is. Now, this being an irrigated field is not an unfair advantage by any means, but it sure is an aid in shrinking this area down to where you're going to see a number of antelope. And there are quite a few buck antelope on that field right now. That particular one right there that's looking at us is a pretty nice buck. Talk about catch and release, folks. It don't get no better than that. Those were 5, 10 yards away. It ain't over until it's over. I don't know how many bucks was out here, but there was a bunch. About all the same age group. And I just couldn't make myself pull the string back. It was too exciting just getting that kind of footage. And that's what I told Chuck, I was here to get footage. And by God, that's pretty historical footage out of a blind that we just set today. We put this blind up at about 8:15 this morning. Okay, we're standing at where those antelope were at last night, and we'll go up here and talk to the man.
This video you saw Don make yesterday, it can happen. I won't promise anybody you'll ever see that again in your lifetime. We got the bucks, they're all free ranging, there ain't no high fences. We take pretty good care of our game, you know, but that particular sequence of bucks probably won't happen to you. But we do got them here to hunt. And if you got the time, that took 12 hours of waiting to get that video. And it doesn't happen every hour, you know, every 2 hours. You got to have patience. This is a game of patience here. You know, it can take up to 5 days, and that's why we got 5-day hunts. But I'll never guarantee you an animal. I will guarantee you we'll give you 100% of what we got to get you one.
And you do got the numbers.
We have the numbers.
And it's still called hunting. And we were just blessed to get that footage last night. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Pope and Young members, you're not going to get better hunting than what Chuck has for you right here waiting. If you're fortunate enough to draw an elk tag, mule deer tag, well, mule deer and whitetail are all on the same tag, right?
Yes, they are.
So if you're fortunate enough to draw a deer tag, an elk tag, or an antelope tag, you are in La La Land.
There they are.
This is phenomenal. For you people that are entranced in hunting over food plots, I know that's quite popular back in the Midwest, and this is popular throughout the whitetail deer world. This is the extreme food plot. You have everything going for you. Seclusion. You got edge with the timber, you got the dry rock in the background for the mule deer bedding ground during the day, and an ongoing agriculture situation. Just phenomenal. This is the lodge that you'll possibly be hunting out of. Now, what would the species of animals be hunted here, Chuck?
We could hunt elk here, mule deer, whitetail, antelope. There's some mountain lions here also.
And that would all take place out of this particular lodge.
This will be the base lodge for it.
Yeah.
We've got 9 ranches that we hunt. Just depends on the species you're going to be hunting. We range from 9 miles out to 35 mile out.
Huh.
The elk on the mountain are 53 miles from. Well, welcome to the inside of the lodge. We've got 4 sleeping places right here. It's a full kitchen, bathroom. There's a bedroom for the couples in the rear of the lodge. It's comfortable.
Beautiful.
Wood heat, propane heat.
Yeah, it's really, you got closet space, you got television, you know, if you need television, but it's definitely all the accommodations a man and a woman could ask for.
Yeah, for middle of nowheres.
Yeah.
It sits on 2,000 acres. A person kills his antelope, he's got 2,000 acres, he can go. We have Polaris, they can go for a ride, check the whitetails out, whatever the situation may be.
Now, when a hunter, a bow hunter, books a hunt with you, what's the duration time limit on the hunt?
5 days.
5 days.
I do 5 days in case it rains or something. Usually if they need an extra day, if I don't have another party coming in, I'll give them a grace day.
Okay.
You know, I want everybody to get an antelope while they're here, or mule deer, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And have a good time. The good time's the main thing. Be comfortable, have some fun, see a lot of animals.
Yeah. Now, what out here, you know, you got a big range of real estate. What would be an average shot for most of your animals that have been harvested under your tutelage of outfitting?
Average shot is probably 28 to 30 yards. Average. We've killed them from 5 yards to 51. I don't like people shooting 40, 50 yards if they can help it, because we have wind. And the wind does some crazy stuff out here.
Yep.
But our average, you know, usually less than 30.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. That goes a long ways on your knowledge and setting up, you know, the placement of the stand or the blind, and that speaks volumes of yourself and your knowledge.
Another thing I might notice for you people that like Wi-Fi or have to use it for your business or something, we have Wi-Fi here.
Well, that's another attribute about being here. You're in the wild of Wyoming, yet you can still be connected with the rat race of life.
Yeah, we still have wild Wi-Fi here.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. And the romance of this lodge is just, if you had to spend any amount of time due to weather elements, rain or whatever, this is where you would want to spend it. It's just so romantic, and it's hunting atmosphere with the mounts and just the whole scope of things. It don't get any better than this. This is, in my book, 5-star all the way. Here's the view from the front porch, and we're looking straight north there, and you can see where we're up in the pine trees. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to spend a week of hunting.
If you get some time, on your walk, you might even find one.
Now, the legality of it, non-resident could take those home, right?
You can, as long as it's not a full skull.
As long as it's not a full skull.
Yep.
And then if it was a full skull, you have to do some protocol with the game and fish? Or?
You do, yeah. Yeah, you can't collect a dead head here.
Yeah, same way in Iowa.
Yeah.
But you can pick up the sheds legally and take them home if you're fortunate enough to stumble upon one.
Yes, you can.
This is the practice range here. We can go out to 40 on it. I try to have them shoot this morning. A lot of people ask me how come it's uphill. By the time you shoot 5 or 6 arrows, your adrenaline's up, your heart rate's up. It's like a more natural thing that's going to happen to you when an antelope is.
That's quite a range that you got set up there. So if you want to bring your own target, that's fine. But Chuck does have targets available to where you can fine-tune your equipment, and make sure you do that too, because you know it might have worked good in your hometown, but when you got out here something might went awry. Now that's your game cleaning table if you wanted to?
It is. We have a freezer. We have a freezer down to the ranch, so if you need to freeze your meat, your head or whatever, the freezer space is available, so it's a pretty quick job up here to get it done.
Okay, and that comes in really vital. You want to know what you're going to do with the meat. And another attribute is Mitch back at KC. Is he still in business?
Yes, sir. We went and got him out of bed a couple times already.
And he's a full service locker.
He's a full service locker. He field capes them for you. He can cape them completely, but he's always waiting on us.
Yeah.
He's glad to get out of bed for us.
This is an awesome setup you got, Chuck. And for you Pope and Young members that are going to bid on the hunt or want to have a hunt of a lifetime, you're not going to get anything any better, any more reasonable on this North America continent than with Chuck Cureton. I can guarantee you that. He puts his name and his heart and his whole life goes into this to see that you go home, maybe not with an animal sometimes, but with an opportunity.
No, can never promise an animal to any bow hunter. I will promise you we'll give you 100% on trying to get you one.
Yeah, and that's all can be done in today's world. Is a man's out here and he prides himself because each and every time one of you are successful, there's a little part of that animal that Chuck Cureton played in that harvesting of that. And he takes that's his reward in life of giving back to fellow bow hunters.
Yeah, I've watched them born and I've watched them die.
Yeah, well, it's a grandiose spot, that's for sure. So if you're going to bid on the hunt, bid it high, and if you got it in the future, give Chuck a try. Okay, for you guys that want to know what it looks like when you're going to go to a blind to sit out here, this is the essential gear. You got everything that you can stay in. With what I got on my person right now, I could stay in the blind for 48 hours easy, possibly 3 days. You can't just go out with your bow and call that good enough and one bottle of water. You better go out for the prolonged. This seat is a cooler. You've got ice in it, plus it's a seat. The essentials, everything on my back can be used, and some of it might never get used. But if you need it one time, that's when it's going to come into play. So keep that in mind. Just don't go out with your hands in your pockets and your bow. I'd like to go over some really important essentials that you have to have in a blind out here in Wyoming. Number one, and most important, you're going to have several sources of hydration. Water is your number one asset that you're going to have to carry. These coolers here, they act as a seat, as I'll show you. You got a cooler and a seat all in one. One of these little military shovels are a necessity, because right now my seat is unlevel, and I'm going to level it up, dig into this ground and level it up. And without this, you'd be sitting cockeyed all day. Many little things like this you have to have, because the outfitter does not know the conformity of your body in the blind. You're going to have to critique them somewhat to fit your comfort level. Now you see we took and leveled the floor up, shoveled that dirt out with our shovel. And then we put a nice piece of carpet so we can take our boots off and just sit here comfortably, because it can be a long sit. And the more comfortable you are, the better hunter you'll be. Now the other essentials you're going to have is a urinal of some sort. I use these water bottles. They're flexible. And you want to have to pee. You don't need to be peeing in the blind. Somebody else may sit in this blind later in the hunt. This is your kaibo. You're going to have that. You're going to take your poop in that. And I got baby wipes. The baby wipes work great. They clean up the mess. Put them all in that bag. take them out at the end of the day. And now, if you're hunting where a lot of mosquitoes are, down along a water source, a thermocell is priceless. And I've actually used this as a hand warmer in a situation where it was really cold. So it's versatile, but it's really essential. And have plenty of extra butane and filters, because you don't know how intense the bugs are going to be. Another thing that's really comfort creature, doesn't take much room, are these battery operated fan that's priceless in the middle of the day, because you can't open a lot of windows up on these blinds. And so that fan, and if you stick your finger in it, no problem, no harm, no problem. Just some of the essentials. But out of all those, the bow holder, the urinal, the portable kaibo, your number one critical thing is a source of hydration. And make sure you have that. Food is irrelevant, but hydration is a matter of life or death in some situations. So don't leave home without it. And I almost forgot, if you have a smartphone or flip phone, any source of communication is better than none. That's that screwed up buck. One antler going forward and one antler going backward. If he comes around here, I'm going to take him out. He definitely is unique. "26 years with this man. You want to book a quality hunt, elk, mule deer, antelope, whatever. Chuck Cureton, hands down, the man to see. And that you can take that for a fact from the non-typical Norwalkian with the most non-typical antelope headed to Iowa that you ever going to see. What more appropriate, a non-typical antelope for the non-typical Norwalkian?"
I really didn't expect anything less.
This is Mitch, an excellent butcher right here in KC. I mean, he's got the full scale butchering processing. He can work your meat up, quick freeze it, do the whole 9 yards for a reasonable cost. And you can take back big game, little game, whatever. But here's Mitch's processor. I mean, he's got it all. And so that's one thing you guys come out here. What's the name of your mom's motel?
Siesta Motel.
Yeah, at the Siesta Motel. Mitch's mom's ran that forever. And that's where you make a connection with Mitch. And I tell you what, he does an excellent job on your big game. Okay, we'll see you later on, Mitch.
Okay.
And really appreciate it.
No problem, Don. We'll see you in the morning.
Okay, bud, thanks. Now here's one of Chuck's setups on this blind, on this isolated water hole out here. And when I say isolated, that water has a lot of drawing power. You can see the cattle around it, but it'll also draw the antelope.
Hi, I'm Chuck Cureton, Ridgemaster Outfitting, otherwise Mr. Ridgemaster on YouTube. The 2018 hunting season was a great season. I'm looking forward to 2019 and all the hunting adventures it'll bring us. If you would like a Western Wyoming hunt, my phone number would be 307-797-0131. We're going to be in Omaha, Nebraska at the Pope and Young Convention. I hope to see you there.